Agada.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma ni domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302 data amount hash or go to your Yaiborom menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data is fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborom.
Alright.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Lamin Cham and this is our weekly current affairs program that comes your way this time every Saturday. This week we will reflect on the Party Congress of the United Democratic Party which took place
in Janjambore last weekend. We will pick up where we stop on the crisis in Fonyi, where 4 men were shot dead over the last couple of weeks, allegedly by drones released by Senegalese soldiers. The Gambia government has weighed into the fray. We will discuss what they had to say. We will, of course, look at the hula baloo that's just emerged in the between the local government and the central government over who takes credits for the offices of Kemenseng and Banjul municipalities. Plus, we will look at the end of another episode in the twinned legal challenge or legal battle of the Kerr and Senabumbai families, which ended, of course, over the weekend with the government of the Gambia expressing that they have no interest in prosecuting the case against Senabumbai. This, plus any other item that can fit in our program, is what we have lying ahead on this program. So stick around and enjoy the brunch. Now, let me introduce my panelist. To my right immediately is Kemenseng Sanneh, Kexx. He is an activist and a blogger who follows every twist in the Mbai and Kerr trials as well as parliamentary affairs. Next to him is investigative journalist Mustapha Darboe from Malagen. And Tombong Saidy, we congratulate him for just his new position. He's been now made or elected, that is, communications officer for the communications director, or whatever the portfolio is called, for the United Democratic Party. Welcome, Tombong.
Thank you, welcome. Thank you, Lamin Cham, and I'm very glad to be here.
For the first time?
For the first time, actually for the first time even in this building.
Interesting.
Yes.
But you will be coming here often because as things get heat up for the local government elections, we're going to drag in representatives from every party. So I can bet that we will be calling on you to be coming here every time. Let's start with you before we go into other issues. Last week was your biannual Congress in Georgetown. This one was, even before it happened, many people thought it would be a Congress that would be different from every other Congress. One, it came after a momentous election in which your party, of course, took second. You lost to incumbent Adama Barrow. But more importantly, there were issues or even rumors that perhaps for the first time, somebody will seriously put up a challenge for the leadership of the party to challenge the traditional leader, Usainu Darboe. It didn't happen, but people said it is a signal of perhaps a crack in the unity of the party. Is that a valid argument?
No, that's not a valid argument. There's no crack. The United Democratic Party, like any other party, have different groups, different interests, and have different generations who are mixed there. So there's nothing unusual about this Congress.
Okay.
There are 37 elected positions.
Wow.
And out of those 37, 6 were challenged.
It's only 6 that actually...
Yeah, that actually had more than one nominee.
Nominees. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So those 6, and the tradition at the UDP is that whenever there's a challenge, we have a council of elders. They will call the two.
Or you also have a council of elders.
Apart from the executive, we have a council of elders.
How are they constituted? Are they?
Those were like some of the founding members.
Okay.
You know, and some old party militants who have been with the party since inception.
Oh.
Most of them are above 70s.
Okay. So they
are what do you call the council of elders.
So their role is
with Bademba Bojang and others.
Okay. Okay.
So anytime there's a contest between two candidates,
they will come.
They will normally call the two of them to negotiate.
Okay.
And from the negotiation, normally one would say, okay, I will opt out and leave it for X.
So that's what happens.
So if there's no agreement, then
then there will be elections.
We'll go for elections.
But in most cases, the Council of Elders succeed in
yeah. In this instance, they succeeded in all the 6 cases.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so all of that basically now it means that all the positions have been filled without election.
Yes.
Okay.
All 37
filled without elections.
Yes.
We understood you also had an amendment to the executive's mandate. Now, instead of 2 years, all those who elected, including yourself, in January last week, will be there until next 4 years.
Yes.
Why was that necessary?
Because one, the 2 years was very short in terms of the elected official getting time to
be able to do anything.
Okay. And secondly, having elections every 2 years is very expensive. Because when you have an electoral congress, you need all the delegates to be there.
Together, yeah.
And like we have 52 constituencies plus the diaspora 53.
So you mean
because we consider the diaspora as a constituent.
Okay.
So each constituent will send 20 representatives. 5 youth male, 5 youth female, 5 adult male.
And this is only this is only mandatory for elective congress.
Yes, for elective congress.
Whereas ordinary ones.
So you're talking about 1,080 delegates plus the executive members, almost 1,200 delegates, and you have to feed them, lodge them, transport them.
Okay.
So because of all these things, we say instead of having, because the IEC says you can have
Congress 2 years.
But not necessarily. It doesn't say that you have. It's only UDP that does that. That elect every 2 years.
I see.
But
the others don't.
Like years ago, it used to be 4 years, but then it was changed. Then taken back to 4 years. So that's the rationale. Yes.
So it's not so much of an attempt to stop people who might know ambitions of challenging the leadership.
No. The leadership challenge is open. And also people always confuse flag bearer
and
party leader.
Yeah, because
and the flag bearer is never chosen at a congress. It's always chosen at the central committee meeting.
But it has always been, until Adama Barrow's case, it has always been the party leader which has been the flag bearer.
Yes.
So that's why people.
Yes, but if you look at other parties, for example, Doi, it's not the party leader. That's always the flag bearer.
Yeah, well, they have a different.
Yeah, I'm just showing you.
Okay.
So being a party leader and being a flag bearer
could be different. But until recently, that's what I'm saying. Until recently, people could be excused to think like that because until recently that was the case. Sadawda Jawara was Secretary General of the party, and he was always the flag bearer. Sheriff Mustapha Diba was Secretary General, always the flag bearer. Asan Musa.
But
the until Adama Barrow, until the coalition arrangement with Adama Barrow, that was always the case.
Yes.
So that's why people would think that perhaps the party leader could still be.
No, because even this last election, 2016. Hussein was not chosen at the Congress. He was chosen at the
Central Committee.
And then there was there was somebody else.
Yeah, there was somebody who there were said to be people who were interested.
Yes. But they were they didn't make.
Well, that was just for formalities.
No, they expressed their interest.
I think they were genuinely interested in contesting his place. Okay. So there was the issue of you've said there was no leadership contest, but even Talib Bensouda, who was said to be supposedly interested, had said, yes, he admitted he had people talk about that, but he had not declared any intention. And if the time comes to do so, if there is a possibility, he will come out, he wouldn't hide. But many people believe that there is definitely, whether it's said or not, or shown in public or not, there is a very big feeling among many people that there are signs that there could be factions, people supporting Talib's supposed bid, and other people in the likes of.
But Talib has never shown any interest.
Yeah, he said so.
He has never shown any interest in being the party leader.
But it could have been a strong feeling among people.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, people have the right to feel anyhow.
Okay.
They could even say that Tombong is interested in being a party leader, or Alma Metal, or somebody else. But the fact of the matter is, if you are interested in becoming a party leader, you express yourself, you inform the delegates, especially those who are coming from your constituency and region, to support you, and you put up your bid. You know, and your delegates will nominate you when all the positions were declared vacant. We all resigned and came off the stage, and then the positions were declared one by one, and people were nominated, seconded, but then there were no other nominations. So,
So, in going ahead, you think, well, many people think that the UDP would have been strategic and change their strategies after the last election. For example, injecting younger people into the leadership, because the next election probably people might like to see a change of hand in the party's leadership to boost their chances of electoral success in the next election.
No, I mean, UDP's strategy is always evolving. It's not a stagnant.
But the leadership never changed since 1996. It's been Hussein Darboe.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the strategy is stagnant.
No, what I mean is
UDP have more young people in the executive than any other party, and have more women than any other party. I mean, we have 14 women out of 37. 14 elected women executive members out of 37. I mean, if you look at the top five leaders, only 2 are men. Only Hussein Darboe and by Demba Bojang. The national president is a female. The second vice president, the first vice president is by Demba Bojang.
By Demba.
Yes. The third is Rohilo. The party leader, the secretary general and party leader is Hussein Darboe. Assistant is Ajiyam Seka. So the top 5, they are all, you have 3 women and 2 men.
Good. I'll pass you to my panelists now. We may have 1 or 2 observations or questions for you. Mustapha, what did you take from the Congress?
Well, me, I don't follow partisan politics that very closely, so I'll pass. I think
Kexx, political blogger. Well, of course, it must be said that he's a Doi sympathizer, so that we know where he's coming from.
I know that.
But I want an independent view of what did you hear? What did you think?
Actually,
what do you observe?
First of all, to congratulate the United Democratic Party for conducting a very successful election Congress at Janjapure, which we were keenly following, and there is almost an agreement between them that shows you how the unity that is among themselves by going for a Congress peacefully without any push and pull, even though we see in somewhere where you have 2 or 3 people that are actually competing, but at the end of the day, when they go inside the room and discuss as family, they agree on bringing an individual. It is actually good. For me, the problem that I have with the because if you look at the issue of the logistic, like the cost that is attached to having Congress
every 2 years.
Every 2 years, and it's much. And I think we have to actually look into this, because people are elected into office for a tenure of 4 years or 5 years in the Gambia, either the presidency or any other position. Most likely it's either 4 years or 5 years that we have, and if the IEC can fine-tune themselves with those provisions, so that at least it's helped the party, because Gambia is the only political country in this country where government doesn't sponsor a political party.
Yeah, there's no
state funding, so they run their own activities by themselves. So putting them into every 2 years going in for Congress, and we know how much expensive it is, because this issue of having a Congress in the 2 years is not more of an elective Congress, but it's just to update the IEC after the election of presidential election. You have people that normally cross carpet, like after the election, if this person wins, then you see other people who are holding executive position in one political party, then shift again. So you update the IEC of the status of the party, who are still, whether you still maintain the same. So you update them on the financial status of the party, the executive of the party, and all these things. So that can be done by even formally writing to the IEC rather than holding a Congress. And then 4 years you go there, because December all the political parties went for an elective Congress, and they elected there. So it's more of updating the IEC. So I think that trend will be.
In your view, it shouldn't be an expensive exercise.
Mandatory exercise. Then last, because IEC give a condition that December, if they fail to do that, then they will actually take an action. They will deregister it. But if it can be challenging, and I know,
Well, yes.
let's see what. But actually, this is my observation. But apart from that, I would say congratulations to the United Democratic Party for actually having a successful Congress, and wish all those who are appointed to various positions successful tenure in office. Wish them all the best.
Good. Before we change to the local government issues now, Tombong, there was an attempt also, a proposal to appoint a deputy vice president,
deputy party leader for finance and administration.
Yes. What happened? That didn't see the light.
No, that because.
But that has proven controversial because Amadou Sanneh, who is the treasurer, senior member of the party, came out in interview. Seems to be taking swipes at at the PR, or rather the coordinator or moderator of the whole Congress, saying
because
his proposal was prematurely rejected. Or
no, it was not prematurely rejected.
What happened there exactly?
Amadou Sanneh made the proposal.
Okay.
And he is currently he was the former Minister of Finance, and he's currently the treasurer.
He had always been treasurer until
the treasurer of the party.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the constitution of UDP says that there's party leader and deputy party leader, one deputy party leader. And if you want to change like that, there's a process. You propose a constitutional amendment and let it go through the process before it comes to the Congress.
Oh, I see.
That's one. He didn't do that. Secondly, he came and read his proposal in English. So it's only right for the coordinator, because 99% of the delegates, they don't speak English. Yes. So it's only right for the moderator to explain this in Mandinka, and then it was also explained in Wolof. So when people heard it, they rejected it. The party leader came, stood as a delegate, and also spoke against it. Darboe.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people came and spoke. People were given chances to come and speak against it.
So overwhelmingly,
yes.
They
Overwhelmingly, it was rejected. Because for me, it seems like it was a position tailor-made for an individual.
Oh.
To tell you the truth, that's my frank opinion.
Because
how could you just come and say deputy party leader for finance and admin?
Okay.
I mean, this is not a corporate structure. It's a political party.
Wow.
We have a constitution, and this is the constitution. Because if you say that it's for finance and admin, that would eliminate more than 90% of the delegates to vie for that position.
Oh, I see.
So the natural candidate would be either Amadou Sanneh,
or somebody
who was a finance minister, and the current or somebody who did finance.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, you just create this.
Was it not an attempt perhaps to create a position, a senior position, so that people like him can get into more senior, like people in the APRC led by Fabakari?
Amadou Sanneh is one of the most senior, he's a founding member.
Yeah,
he's one of the most senior members of the executive or of the party.
Okay.
He's been there from day one.
But his argument was that he deal with a lot of work, and probably he needed an assistant.
No, I read his interview. I didn't listen to it, but I read what was written on Fatou. That's not his job. You are a treasurer. The campaign and organizing committee are responsible for organizing the campaigns, rallies, and Congress. They come with a budget. They give it to the treasurer. The treasurer should check the budget, vet it, hand over the money to the campaign and organizing committee, let them organize. This is the first Congress. I've witnessed 3 Congresses since I joined the UDP. This is the first Congress that was being organized and managed by Amadou and co.
Okay.
It should have gone to the campaign and organizing committee. Because they made the budget.
Okay.
The funds should go to them and let them do the organizing. You are the treasurer, and then from there they submit the receipt, the receipts, and then the internal auditors double check whether the money was spent correctly. That's not his job. The treasurer You receive money and
then
dish
dispose
out
it.
money. You are not there to go and look for accommodation, go and buy onions and rice and you know.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. The other position that prominently came is campaign manager, or whatever you call it. Mamadou Sabali became campaign manager, and Sonko, Karafa Sonko was holding that position. How did that position change?
Well, Mamadou Sabali expressed his interest and got nominated. Karafa Sonko got nominated first and seconded, and then a third person stood up and nominated Mamadou Sabali, and he was seconded. And then there was no other third applicant or third candidate. So the two of them were supposed to go to elections, but they met with the Council of Elders, and through reconciliation, Karafa decided to step aside and allow Mamadou Sabali to assume the position.
Good. So before we change the topic, finally on the UDP, many people think that the old man, that's Ousainou Darboe, of course, the leader, I mean, is the only unifying factor, I mean, in the party. I mean, without him in the leadership, even substantially or symbolically, your party will split. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. I mean, he's an influence, and he's a revered leader, and people respect him. But I mean, he doesn't own himself.
He said no.
I mean, he could die tomorrow, and that would not make UDP
he said
go.
None of you are prepared for life after him.
Who said
without
that?
him?
Who said that?
Because you may split into bits if
if
he is.
No, you have to remember one thing. UDP is not owned by Ousainou Darboe. UDP was not formed by Ousainou Darboe. UDP was formed and they invited Ousainou Darboe to be the leader.
Yeah, but
that's the difference between UDP.
But he stayed for since then quarter of a century now. Nobody changed.
But that's the difference between UDP and most political parties. Most political parties, apart from UDP, maybe Andoy, they are always centered around one person. If the person dies, the party dies.
Or the party leaves power.
Yes. The UDP, they selected Ousainou Darboe as their leader.
For life?
No, not for life. Every Congress.
It does seem to be like that now.
No, it's not for life. I mean, he will be there, and as long as UDP members feel that he is competent to be the party leader, he'll be there. When they feel that he is no longer serving the interests of the party, they'll bring somebody else.
What about if you feel he's no longer popular? I mean, he's not a winnable candidate. You never think about that. He tried 5 times, he could not win. Maybe.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's not a winnable
somebody
candidate.
else may be able
Apply
to.
Wada tried how many times?
Well, that's
Mitterrand in France tried how many times before he became president? That doesn't mean anything.
Let's go into the local government elections. So we start from you again and then come through this. I mean, the local government elections are 4 months or so away, but in his recent Meet the People's tour, President Barrow seemed to have provoked what people already consider as the premature beginning of the electioneering. I mean, he said he's going to appoint governors or administrators, he called them, for KM and Banjul City Council. I've seen experts in the law who says, Kexx, perhaps we start with Kexx, can help us with the law. They said the law says except at KM and BCC, the president can appoint governors, but he can't do it without a change of law. And the president is thinking of as soon as January to do that. Kexx, help us. Does he have any powers to be able to do that?
Yeah, actually, this is a provision that for us we have actually been, more especially me, I have been talking about this, that people that are elected into office, now elected by the people, and they should serve the tenure that they should actually be in the office, whether it's elected for 5 years or 4 years. But this has been law that some of this executive will rely on to 3 months before the election, they will remove.
Yes,
dissolve the council.
You're talking about the Supreme Council ruling also,
and other things also. But actually, with the decision now, because already it has been in the Supreme Court and decision has been made that they will term go into their entire term. There will be no actually.
So there will be no
interim management.
No
interim management now. This is so that means it came from effect. So the power is no more there.
Yeah.
That means that this present council will go until the day they are
until
going for
the day
election.
they've been voted out or voted in
an office, and they will turn over whoever comes
to themselves or to whoever wins.
Whoever comes. So they will not be in direct control of any other person, whereby you have an interim management. So for me, actually, that's the best way.
Why do you think, Mustapha, the current, the local government authorities had to go to court for that? Do they fear that during the time they will be absent, the government will play political tricks to discredit them or something? There must be a reason why they go to court, to run away from that.
No.
Yes, comment. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's being afraid. They are fighting for democracy.
Okay.
Yes, that's the bottom line, and good governance.
I see.
I mean, it doesn't make sense for them to resign from their mandate
for
3 months
and then
or 4 months before the elections, and then being replaced by selected people to come and run the affairs of council who are not elected, who could do anything.
I see.
It's wrong. It was not there. It's an amendment that Yaya made to be able to manipulate whatever.
I see.
So the National Assembly, in fact, because the KMC and others, they took 2 routes. They asked the National Assembly to do the amendment, but they also went to court. But then the court decision came before the amendment was done.
And that supersedes everything now.
Yes.
So it was not a case of let's try to save our skin because
no.
Because if
in
we
fact it was not everybody who was in with this.
I see.
If you look at the judgment, it was KMC, Kerawan Area Council, LRR, Basse, CRR.
Yeah, but now it's upholding.
Banjul did opted out. Brikama Area Council opted not to be part of it. But they are all benefiting.
But now they are all benefiting.
But they will receive their salaries
continuously.
Until the new council comes.
So the argument they have, like you said, it's strengthening democracy is to ensure that not unelected people come and decide, to oversee for 3 months or so. Mustapha, you heard about the judgment. They call it a landmark judgment in the administration of the local government.
I think it also gives the president an abundance opportunity to politicize the council. And so, for example, if the mayor had to step down for a period of 3 months, and an interim executive appointment of which you have no control over.
Yes.
And it could be just anybody.
The president can choose anybody.
Anybody to come, and the president is a political appointee. And
he can
appointing who has, by the way, an interest in the next leadership.
Absolutely.
Of the chair of the mayor.
It's interesting.
So you're giving the president too much advantage.
To manipulate
political maneuvering.
So what the Supreme Court actually did was to...
That was the democratic...
Yeah, it has democracy in its mind to ensure that the president does not gain any undue advantage.
Absolutely. Although I still think that a lot more reforms need to be done. And that's where the issue of the comment of the president you made comes.
Yes.
The issue is in this country, people we're not focused. We're not very focused. So, for example, if you look at what the president and the mayor, whether KM or Banjul, is even arguing over, is irrelevant.
Yes, we'll come to that.
It is the money of the people that had been used, not the money of the president or the mayor to build. So whatever was built built out of the money belonging to people of Banjul Kalas.
So the issue of who should hold the key,
who holds the key, who doesn't hold the key, who manages the toilet, it's irrelevant.
For me, I would have given it to...
But the thing is, Gambians have made politics very cheap in the Gambia. It's no longer a problem of sitting political authorities down to tell you how many jobs they can create, how they can reduce poverty and at what rate, and with what jobs and with what resources. So politics has become you build a road or you build a building and you inaugurate. And so, because election is coming, they are competing to inaugurate a building because that's what people vote for.
I mean, having the government, and this local government, the central government, contesting for credits for a building.
Pathetic. It's pathetic.
It's what
from
people,
both sides.
People say it's just a storm in a teacup. It shouldn't attract anybody's attention.
Yeah. It's a building. You just get some money from some organization outside.
Yes.
And they build a building for you.
Yes.
Why a president would even, in his wisdom, and waste his time to go and inaugurate a building is beyond me.
But why would you ignore the president also and perhaps invite your leader of your party to come?
No, but that's also.
As the president said, the president alleged.
For me, that's the point.
I'm
like,
talking.
Why would you even? The president should also. They can even invite the president to come and sit.
Yes. But did they invite him?
I think there's a misunderstanding there.
The president said
the local governments, they are under Ministry of Local Government.
Yes. Was the minister
Mustapha was the minister. He was invited.
He
did not come. He delegated somebody to come.
Okay.
And all the political parties were invited.
Was the president invited?
Represented the APRC.
Yes.
Nene Freda was there.
Yes.
Yes, Yankuba Koli was there.
Yes.
Like Conte was there.
Yes.
Keba
Jallo.
Yes, VP. They were all there.
Okay.
Everybody was invited.
But the president said,
and besides,
the president said you roll out a red carpet for
No, the red carpet was there for everybody.
Okay.
It was just a red carpet.
Okay.
But the thing is, I think these are. I think for me, it's
you took the credit as a UDP project.
No. For me, this is a distraction.
Really, you said
it's a distraction. I think the president should have talked about what he can do to improve the lives of the people.
Perhaps it's in the same spirit that he said he threatened to appoint governors.
No. But there are governors in Sierra, in NR, in North Bank. What difference did they make there?
Nothing.
So
you see,
in fact, if anything, people are saying that governors themselves should be elected,
or
their position scrapped.
The problem is the position of the governor. That's what I was talking about. Good governance. People are more interested in improving parties and grabbing power and all of that
than institutions
and building a country. Because the position of governors should be scrapped. Governors are totally irrelevant in the regions. What we should have instead, it's a full-blown regional governance structure. Whereas, because you see, even in different regions, if you look at the Chinese model, they have even village-specific policies.
Even the American model, there are laws that are unique
in eradicating their poverty in their country.
Yes,
they have policies that are specific for a particular area. Because what people do agriculture-wise in regions differ, the structures in the region differ, the poverty level, the economic resources available, the market dynamics, they are different.
They could have their
That is why Gambia government should have had a full-blown regional structure where development policies are designed and implemented within the region.
Unique to that.
Empower and staff regional governments. So the chairperson could oversee a whole regional government.
Exactly. Like in
a whole big regional government.
The federal system in
and
Nigeria.
The central government provides resources for that. And stop this petty politics where you come, I am the president, I must be respected for what? You see, so those are the kind of things. And if you talk, the president talking about government with low self-esteem, I mean, the president is the president of the republic.
I tell you.
Why do you need another person to show how much power you have? What is that? I am sabotaged. How?
Yes,
like how are you sabotaged?
I think
how do you? What difference? Because as far as we are concerned at this point, I mean, regions where there are no governors apparently are doing better than regions where he has his governors. So what does a governor help him to do what?
I see.
You see, so these are some of the issues, and it's just pure politics. He's blackmailing the people, showing well, I am not able to do well because your governor, your regional, your chairperson,
mayor,
your
whatever.
mayor is the problem.
Yes. So it's just going down to
But
politics.
where there is a governor, what have you done there?
Yeah.
Other than that,
Well, he tried to hand over the Basel market to the governor.
yeah, but those are easy
That
things,
also
Cham.
sparked
I mean,
some
building a
controversy.
market, you only have to sign a check and award a contract. Somebody comes to do it.
local
There is
government.
money.
So is this not Kexx, a lack of tolerance in cohabitation in our body politics? For example, we cannot live with the fact that the local government is controlled by members of the opposition party. Isn't that not a case of not being able to accommodate each other politically? Kexx.
Yeah, for me, that's what I actually see. If you look at the whole issue of council and the central government, these are government that should work hand in hand for the development of the people.
Yeah.
This is why you even in the law provides that some of the revenue that are collected by the central government should be also pumped back to the local government.
Subvention. I don't think they have any issues about that.
So that they will actually support these people. So these people should work hand in glove in terms of the development of the people, because the role of every citizen government is to promote the general welfare of the citizens. And you have the council that are so close to the people, then you have the central government. Exactly. So they work direct hand in glove with the people. So council doing or having the project, like you take a loan on behalf of all of us will pay, irrespective of the region you come from. Even people from Nyamina will pay building that is there, because it's
for
a
the
loan
building in Banjul.
Banjul
If it was a loan, everybody, even people in Nyamina who had no business with it.
If it's a grant, you take it
In the name of the people, everybody had a say.
So
even the boy in Nyamina had a say, the BCC or the
KMC. So for me, the whole argument was very irrelevant. It's very
and just for the president and the whole government to come out with a press
release. I
trying
saw
to
3
suggest
different
how
type
the
of press release.
It's the press release, and is it storming a teacup?
Definitely, it's just
But even for people to even waste their time, whether it's an opposition or the government, like what's the point?
Who
like,
take the credit for the building?
has been built anyway, and we are there.
Absolutely.
So what's the point?
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, and it all goes to show this has been unfortunately the psychology of the Gambian.
Yeah.
What development comes to mean in this country. And that is me. I would reserve my political opinion, but regarding which party I think has a right thinking. But if you look at when Jawara was here, for example, so you things weren't as bad when it comes to the progress, the development of the productive sector. Whether it is that farmers get some reasonable amount of subvention, or it is that there is a place where we are doing oil, where we are GMC, whether the PWD is doing its work, whether the fact that agricultural extension workers are all over the place. But this idea of building structures as a hallmark of development comes with Jame. And look at what it cost us. One, we started spending money we don't have. Inflation started shooting up. We started spending Arch 22, it's $1 million building in 1995.
It was 39 million.
The Arch.
30 million.
At that time it's $1 million. The National Assembly, it's over $1 billion. Is this National Assembly of the Gambia? It's over $1 billion. The building at the turntable here is 233 million.
That is the combo coastal.
How much can that do for poor farmers? You see.
We'll spend a lot of time.
But this impressed the Gambian, because the Gambian, instead of investment in agriculture that lifts the people out of poverty, because development ought to be strategic. I'm not saying you can't build a road, but if you build a road for hungry people, what meaning does that have?
And that is the
issue.
So
because look at it now. Our debt is 80 billion plus. $2 billion approaching, right? And what do we have for it? Poverty has gone up from 48% to 53%. It means basically 5 in every 10 Gambian cannot have $50 a day.
Every day.
Which means 5 in every 10 Gambian cannot buy full bread, mayonnaise, and 1 egg
a day.
That is scandalous.
Yeah.
Like for a country that is having a budget of $35 billion,
You need to pay all that.
but we do it to maintain a government.
Yeah.
And for these projects like this, they go and take a loan because this is the easier thing. For someone who who cannot think, what is easy? You take a loan and sign a check and award a contract and build a road, because anybody can do that. You don't even need to go to school to do it. But what is difficult is, let's go make sure there is food security. Like, how many projects are coming in, pouring in agriculture, every order in the name of the people? This is what we will do. In the end, you know what they do? They spend over half of it on administrative costs, their salaries.
To maintain.
You go to agriculture, you'll be shocked. In my village, they went and built a fish pond. They said there is going to be a fish pond. And they built a billboard on the road in fish pond, some 9 kilometers away from my village, Salikene. So they said there is a fish pond inside. There is no fish pond in my village. They just came, they dug some stupid place, and they leave it there. There is not even water there. But that board is on the road saying there is a fish pond some 9 kilometers away.
And there's no.
And when I came, one time I was leaving my village, I took a picture of it and I put it on Facebook. And I go through comments, and everybody, a lot of people are saying a similar project is in my village, a similar project. Now think about it.
And come to hear how much they said has been spent.
Exactly. Think about it. How many money are you pouring into Jahal Pacha from independence to now?
Billions.
What? Agricultural production, rice production is going down. Like if you have, for example, a country we consume, they say, around 200,000 tons of rice. We produce only about 56,000 tons, a fraction of what we consume. Every year we are spending millions, over 50 million on importation. Today, they just get up, collect 80 million, they said. 80 million United States dollars, I think that's what they said.
Yeah.
And give it to some selected number of undisclosed investors. To bring in rice and some commodities. And the central bank governor is telling us we need to be grateful for it. It's the reason why. I saw he said, he told your reporter that the reason why you are here is because
you have eaten.
And he didn't kick him in the face.
You have eaten.
No, I mean,
it's because you have eaten.
These things that happen in this country, only us can tolerate.
Really?
And for me, that's why I'm out of partisan politics. I don't watch political shows.
You cannot avoid it.
I just don't watch congresses.
Let's now talk about the other issues that have dominated news in the past, of course, being the shooting incident in Fonyi residents, because there is even a dispute as to whether they are Gambians or Senegalese. But in any case, they are Gambian residents. 4 of them have been killed over the last 5 weeks or so, allegedly by drones released by Senegalese troops, whether they are in the Gambia or not, because there is a dispute about that too. Now, the Human Rights Commission, the matter has attracted their attention, which now suggests that they are concerned that this can be an issue of human rights. The local National Assembly members, of course, they are politicians, but then they have said their area has been targeted by government for harassment, in addition to wrongful terminations, etc. The government has since denied that. But they also say they're going to investigate the circumstances, that they regret any loss of life, that in fact the president announced that there are going to be projects for Fonyi and many other things. But Kexx, you follow events very well there. I mean, what is in fact the problem? People who live in the border in Fonyi are saying they cannot venture into any further than their fences. They cannot grow, crops or rear cattle, beyond their fences without being mistaken for rebels or being killed. It looks like whoever is shooting them, has a ground rule of shooting on sight, because 4 people have been killed in the same circumstance. How do you think this problem can be solved?
Yeah, actually, first of all, we have to understand what is the role of a government, and the role of a government, irrespective of, the role is to protect the lives and the property of
whether they are refugees or
whether they are, as far as they are in the Gambia,
they
are considered, they are security and their lives and properties is solely reliant on the government of the Gambia to make sure that they protect these people. And this is not an issue that has started today. This has been an issue so far since more, especially came evident, like even though it was there, but after the change 2016, you know, most of the Gambian people tend to know what is actually happening in Fonyi, and all of these things start from the Haruna Jada's issue with these economic forces, and from there another killing happens again, and then from there where the Senegalese force used the Gambia to attack the rebels, and the students were all sent away from school for almost 3 months. They were not going to school due to this clash with the Senegalese forces, and the government should be forced. What is the cause of this problem? It should be the #1 priority to investigate the whole matter. But what I actually understand there, all the time when this issue comes, government is more at defensive side rather than actually facing the issue to look at or make a thorough study to address this issue. And I think even prior to before this killing, there was another killing that happens, and the militaries were sent there to do their investigation. Up to today, we don't know what happened. Haruna Jada, what is the cause? Up to today, we didn't even know. Now we are counting almost 6 good years now. We don't know. So that shows you, like, it shows the people of Fonyi that this government doesn't care about me, and we know what happens. The government that Adama Barrow succeeded is like more of themselves, like Cham. So they will see that, okay, it's because of Cham, that's why we are going
They said that loudly.
And I had so many, because when Amul Nyas was the sitting National Assembly member, we went to Fonyi in regards to this issue of the economic Senegalese soldiers that were occupying the rice field where these people rely on for their food, and they occupy that as their base, and they went there to have this negotiation so that at least they can find another base, because this is where their source of survival is. And this was not adhered to when we went there with Amul Nyas and sitting National Assembly members. And we went further and find out that there was actually even more of a security agreement. Different from, because after this whole incident,
but that's where the confusion
came.
Recently they disputed that there is any separate arrangement to have Senegalese troops different from those in the economic.
Yeah, they will deny that, but the minister made it very clear just last week before the parliament that there is what we call, they have 2 agreements. One is the hot pursuit agreement that they have, and the other one is security and defense agreement that they have with the Senegalese, that is particularly Senegal and Gambia, and this was signed by the President of the Republic of the Gambia. So this is an agreement. So those security agreements are there in terms of any security or defense. Senegals can come and intervene, and also likewise them too. And the hot pursuit is like Senegal can chase anybody up to the Gambia here and just take this person, and they say there's this agreement. But normally government cannot go into any international agreement, you know, rely on the provision of the constitution without bringing it for the parliament. For parliament to look whether it will derogate the sovereignty of this country or not, whether the agreement is in the interest of the Gambian people, because you are there to serve the interest of the Gambian people. What is the content of that agreement? What does it entail? What benefits are we going to have there before you go into that? And this has never happened, and it's still been enforced or been implemented almost for far too long. And this is what I was telling you when we went with the national, the Dar es Salaam the committee, and you have the security at Dar es Salaam border post, and they nearly clash because, you know, it's not clear to them what is the agreement. This is just few individuals sat down and said there's an agreement, and this is not communicated down, because even you ask the minister, you said I have to go back and go through this document and see. But first, the whole process is illegal, and that should be the starting point of this country. We should not go into any agreement that is not sanctioned by, that is unconstitutional, and it's not cancelled. And this is provision that you must do it. And the parliamentarians call on the minister to bring the agreement, and his response was, I will go and ask, and if it is legally required for me to bring it, I will bring it. But if it is not, I will not bring it. So automatically that tells you that they are not even legally advised in terms of international.
They don't even know what the defense minister doesn't even know.
No, these are things. So these are issues, and I think we are looming into a crisis. If you are looking at the trend, how it is going, and the earlier we confront this, the better for all of us. If not, the repercussion or what it will give back will be more than what we are trying to have, because those who are close to these things, knowing the facts, know, you know, that there's a security threat. And if people are pushed up to the wall, there will be revenge. They will come out, and I think these people have been pushed to a level that actually they feel very insecure in their own area, and the government should make sure that they protect their citizens. So I think we need a national conversation around these things to make sure that
Mustapha, should the government just continue to look at this issue as a trivial matter, or do you think we should have a lot more aggressive or more tangible approach in dealing with the matter. For example, facing it headlong that we have a problem in Fonyi and we have to solve it, either by going to some sort of agreement with the Senegalese to withdraw the forces from there, as the locals are demanding. Would that even be a problem or the solution?
I think there is a bit of like modesty is very important. There's a bit of you know, a certain behavior. I don't know how to characterize it, but the government shows that from the beginning that they, you know, for example, they were against Jame, so and they appear to think that Jame has a stronghold here, and so because Jame has a stronghold here, so they justified to go through what they're going through. There seem to be a sentiment of that nature from 2016, and so and this is a sentiment that even Jame had. You know, you remember for Jame, you know, during his days he used to say that if you don't vote for me, I don't bring development.
You don't know me, I don't know you. Yes.
It's as though development is his own.
Yes.
But you know, there is the mandate of a president is very precise, and it's a very lawfully defined one.
Yes.
So that you are giving a job within a very strategic specifications, right? And so the job of the president of the Gambia is to be the president of the Gambia.
The Gambia.
And so that every other particular issue, you don't look at it in the light of supporter or no supporter. And the thing is, you will be held to account for every butut spent everywhere and how equally or otherwise you spend it.
And if any life is lost, you must.
Any life lost is your responsibility.
It's your responsibility. That's
so, and they are not looking at this crisis like that. Barrow has from the beginning been notorious for avoiding decisions.
Difficult decisions.
Decisions, just anyhow, just decisions.
He just don't
that is why his method has been setting up a commission so that people forget. If one commission ends, it's about to end and people are still having sentiment, he will set up another commission on the same matter. Look at what he's doing with AKI. So every time, that has been his method. And the issue of Fonyi, it's a very delicate matter because I have been there. And it doesn't matter whether or not opinion other people had is ridiculous or not. What matters is that it's an opinion nevertheless. If I believe that Lamin Cham is a criminal and he should be killed, it does not matter
whether it's correct,
whether my opinion is right or wrong. What matters is that I hold that opinion and I can act on it.
Yes.
And others who believe it. And I believe it.
And others who believe might.
Yes, and so you need to sit down and think about that. So if someone thinks that these are occupation forces, and a lot of them, you have, you know, there are two sides. You have a bunch of non-aligned, whatever they call themselves.
The people
fanning the flames.
Yes.
And those people are doing it for their interest, because so long as that, you know, because ethnicity in the Gambian politics is nothing more than a tool for mobilization.
Yes.
They put fear in people and control them. It's like Donald Trump told the Americans. The Mexicans are coming, they're rapists.
They're rapists, they're killers.
They're not necessarily rapists, but Donald Trump is putting fear in Americans so that he controls the narrative, he controls them. So these non-aligned folks are nothing more than that. Me, I don't listen to them. But if, as a government, you have these two ridiculous sides. One is denying everything Jambe did wrong, and the other one is saying, okay, Shofa, because you support Jambe. They all are two extremes.
Extreme, exactly.
You see, that cannot solve a country's problem. Meanwhile, the person, for example, I went to Baji's compound in Kappa. Now, Baji supports Jame for reasons best known to him. And that's not his fault.
No.
Baji holds the right to support whoever he wants to support. That's his constitutional
and he should
right.
not suffer for that.
And he must not suffer for that.
He must not suffer for that.
Regardless of what your opinion is on that.
Yeah.
Right? As a president,
Yeah.
that's your position.
Exactly.
Now, soldiers and rebels clash at the village in Kappa. I was there. I went there.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to Baji's house, you find that his solar was struck by a bullet. It was not working, and his compound is not fenced. You can look, it's quite a poor neighborhood, and you know, this was in April.
Yeah.
Around April.
this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
You know, his house, the roof was all shattered with bullet holes. And I went to speak to him, and you could see the helplessness in that guy. And what's the other situation? I went to Bujinga. I found a bunch of women who had run away because they were afraid of the guns. And I went to Balen, where I met a Gambian soldier. And while away from the camera, how do I say this? You know, you have people, essential staff of Gambia government, who have very unique, shall I say, views on this matter. And they are not expressing it to government because they are not allowed to express this to government.
Yeah.
But that does not mean the sentiment is not there.
I see.
You go to even, by essential staff, I was talking about military people.
Yeah, of course.
Who
Of course
have,
they are Gambians.
yes, who, and not just Gambian, but from that area.
Yes, they have
who have
ethnic affinity. That
exactly. And in fact, when the crisis started happening, it was soldiers who went to that place to bring their own people out of that place.
Yeah.
Soldiers who are from that area.
Yeah, I see.
So you can, a soldier can live under circumstances where he does not have to express his view.
Yeah.
But that does not mean the view
He doesn't
is not
have
there.
a view, yeah.
And that does not mean the view will not explode someday.
Yeah.
So these are all the issues. And on top of that, it's also an ethnic dynamic in that area. So for example, Gambia needs to even look at this whole thing they call a Senegalese rebellion. You see, because for example, if you go to Nyomi, settlements, the colonialists tore the borders so recklessly that some families, some compounds are divided into two.
There is Nyomi Senegal and Nyomi Gambia.
Exactly. So you even Fonyi.
Baribu Gambia, Baribu
Yes,
Senegal.
but that's what I'm
Salum
saying.
Gambia, Salum Senegal.
Yes, even Kiang area. It's the same. You go to any of these areas, the same people settle across the border, at the border and across the border.
Exactly.
You see. Now, if my cousin is fighting, is being shot at the other side of the border. Naturally, I am a party to that war, depending on our relationship. Now, those are dynamics that exist, and people don't seem to want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk
and
about
for
it.
me, I mean, the fact that we think ethnicity is a problem, we made it a taboo, that you can't talk about ethnicity. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
People in America, they like, it's, what is a problem if a Mandinka feels UDP is what he wants to vote for? You have to ask him, why do you vote for UDP? What's the point? He has a reason. He does not have to convince you. It's not his right to convince you. It's his right to hold his opinion, however reckless that may be. Right? Now, if someone else determines that he wants to vote for X, Y, and Z, people's opinion cannot be criminalized. So if they have, the state has an obligation to not just engage those people, but to protect them. That is not a privilege. It's a right. So for example, and one of the consequences that could come out of it, a rebellion on the other side, on spilling over, possible still, but far-fetched. But what is possible is that we could create a generation, a failed generation in that area. For two reasons. One, when a young man wakes up in a highly militarized region, the only aspiring thing he sees is a gun and a soldier. That's the only thing.
That is why
the second thing is that the rebellion, the crisis in that area had a devastating consequences on education.
Yeah.
You had seen schools shutting down
Absolutely.
and
People
closing
moving,
down
thousands.
and people moving from
Yeah.
one place to another, people out of fear. And the other thing it could have is hunger.
Yeah.
If I am afraid, I don't want to go to my farm, and that's a problem.
Then that's what is happening in...
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, that could create a kind of a situation where hunger would be exacerbated. And if you go to that area, it's a very dry land. So if the Senegalese, of course, I'm against timber trade. I just did a story on timber trade, right? And if timber is helping rebellion and all of that stuff, Gambia government can genuinely fight timber.
That's the point of view of the Senegalese. I mean, that's where the problem is. They just don't think that people living there are rebels, but are in fact supplying them with resources that feed the rebellion. Example is timber trade, the growing of cannabis, and so on. The Senegalese take all this to be part of the rebellion, and they must
Now
stop
let me tell you something that
costs.
may surprise you. When there was a crisis in the region, when it was at the intense level, at the time we were doing our story, because at that time there was shooting. There was shooting, real shooting. When we were going there, one guy told me that in Birikama area, there appeared to be not a shortage, but a huge reduction in the supply of vegetable products. Yeah. And I said, why? He said, because a lot of vegetable products also is coming from
Casamance, yes, that's where the issue is.
You see what I mean?
In Casamance.
Now, if you are taking a gun from someone, and this someone is looking for a bread, you better go with bread. Yeah?
Yes.
Go with bread. Because that's what he's fighting for. Now,
So it's
economic development, it's a key tool people have used elsewhere in the world to stop
most
conflicts.
vegetables and fruits come from I mean, in,
Yeah, but
in Casamance,
but
they
that
don't-
place, it's a very dry area.
And in
I mean, you
Casamance-
go to
in
that area, you can see why there's a problem. It's like most rural, it's not even like most rural areas, but it's like most rural areas, but they have you know, you go there, I mean, Kembujano, you know, logging, and that's how people survive.
That's centuries, that's since centuries ago.
Exactly.
So that's where the problem
So
is.
if you are going...
The traditional way of survival now is threatened there. I mean,
exactly.
You cannot venture into, I mean, beyond your fence or beyond your...
But while they are blamed for that, who are the big winners? The big winners. Who are the consumers of the charcoal? It's people here.
In Casamance, they talk...
That's one thing.
They don't
And
talk
two,
of Brikama as a different country. Somebody will just say, I'm going to Brikama. They don't even consider it as a different country.
Exactly. Now, those dynamics are there. Now, instead of creating stereotypes and listening to these idiots, non-aligned people, because I don't listen to them. Kiba, I think they are fools, because the thing is denying a crime and takes away from you the legitimacy to equally
attract decent people to
no,
your
not
cause.
just attract, but to express sentiment around a legitimate issue. Because if you are denying murder, how do you now convince me of another murder?
That's
You
where
see,
the consistency is.
Consistency, but also what we need to understand is who are the beneficiaries of illegal timber trade. Gambia government and the people who are sponsoring political candidates. I mean, you can go read our story. It's the same people.
Exactly.
People that President Adama Barrow knew about. System, something he knows about. Those are the beneficiaries of the illegal timber trade that they are talking about. If you read the budget speech, they are saying part of the reasons why there is a shortage in forex is because timber is no longer going.
Timber is no longer going. So it's become so integral.
So how do you go and there is some guy in Fonyi. I can bet you 90% of people living in that area, they are not direct beneficiaries of timber. They are not rebels. They don't know how to shoot.
They don't know how to shoot.
So how do you
to see them all
how
as
do you
rebels,
allow me get trapped? A citizen get trapped in such a ridiculous environment, and you are listening to political players who are five people who by the way, are surviving on the sweat of people of Fonyi, because when they came here, didn't they give themselves a clothing allowance of 100,000? Isn't Giba taking clothing allowance of 100,000?
Yeah, they are.
Meanwhile, probably 80 to 90% of people in Fonyi are living below $1 a day. And he is not talking about that, but he can go and find ethnic tension.
So your argument is, okay, the National Assembly members there may have a valid point, but they have been insensitive.
I think they have a valid point.
Yeah, but they have been insensitive by comparing or denying what happened on the Jammeh, because that's
I think it's also the way they're expressing it, Cham.
Yes.
Senegalese rebellion is not our business. For Gambia, for decades, Jawara was here. I mean, the problem was we were not interfering.
Yes, because
we were not arresting people who cross the border, because it's not our
Jawara
business
had
either.
told the Senegalese that, look, if people come to my country without a weapon, they come to see their people, I cannot arrest them.
Yes.
But now what has happened is that, on the Jammeh, the Senegalese said that Jammeh was not only receiving them, he was even arming them.
But we cannot also do that. That is also irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because we
if
cannot,
we were doing that.
Yeah, we cannot contribute to. Senegal intervened in this country 2 times.
Yeah. Well, twice.
Yes.
Twice.
81 and this one.
And now
and in 81 they lost considerable amount of lives.
Oh, yeah, that was
Senegal.
That was a more hostile situation.
Senegal had contributed a lot
to the stability
of the Gambia, and Gambia also needs to reciprocate.
Yeah.
Well, we cannot have a political authority that are picking what is convenient for them, and that's what non-aligned is doing, and that's what the government is doing. So they are all, for me, at equal pedestal.
Both of them are not taking the right
approach. They're not doing anything. They all, picking what they want to pick and leaving what they want to leave. So that's the same thing for Barrow, and that's the same thing for those boys.
So when you hear sentiments like, how many people died in the 1981 rebellion on the Jawara? So they would say,
are 2 false equivalents, because
so
1981 was a war.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
They would say
that was a war.
And they would argue that that's Jawara's regime to blame.
But if you now let's even and this is the I think this comes from a lot of inadequacy and low self-esteem.
Yes.
For one reason, Lamin Cham slapped Pate. Okay, I can also slap Mboj.
Energy.
It's Lamin Cham slaps Pate is wrong.
Yeah. So I should.
So you can also slap someone for doing wrong thing because someone else did it. That is wrong. So let's even suppose Jawara, the government was not acting under a state of war. If you read the CIA bulletin, something like that, I saw it online some time back. They're saying someone broke the prison and was giving guns, and while you were
that's what happened in 1981.
So in a situation like that where prisoners have guns, criminals have guns. In fact, some people were saying some people went to use those guns to settle scores.
Yes, that's what happened.
Yes. So how do you control killings in that?
Political and social scores. And economic.
But what Jammeh did was to sit down and say, Lamin Cham, I don't like him. Jongolas, go kill him. They go premeditated. He had the time to call them back, he didn't. He still knows until the time they go arrest him, he still have the time to call them back, he didn't. He allowed them to go and execute him, he still have the time to call them back, he still have the time to hold them to account, he didn't. A president to act in a criminal behavior like that, it's ridiculous. How can you even have the sense to even say this is normal?
So basically what you are telling the people of Fonyi, especially those who are representing them, is look, accept that wrongs were done on the Jammeh.
No, I'm not telling you.
No, don't try to equate what happened in Jammeh and what is happening.
I think for Fonyi,
so for them,
what needs to be done, it's not only Fonyi, but even the government of the Gambia, is to look at this problem and solve it now. Because one person being shot from the air, just like that, is wrong. So the Senegalese government need to be engaged. That's why even during our Congress, the party leader said,
yes, I was coming to that.
Said that ECOWAS should be involved.
Yeah.
Because this could escalate.
Yes. This is
because if somebody can just sit there, have a drone and shoot anybody in the bush, just like that, without trial or anything.
It's too dangerous.
I mean, there could be retaliation.
Yeah, that could be retaliation. That would be dangerous.
So I think
I was going to your party leader said ECOWAS.
Yes,
the two
ECOWAS
governments
and the two governments needs to look into this.
Yeah.
Because this can create a very serious instability in the sub-region.
Yeah, and
Yes.
ECOWAS point of view is that they don't want an infectious, they don't want problems to infect the whole area. So that's why they are interested. But do you think, I mean, Mustapha, Tombong, and Kexx, the simple demand of the representatives for the withdrawal of Senegalese troops, you think that is the fundamental problem that can uproot the whole?
I don't think that's the fundamental, if you ask me. The problem is that one thing we need to fix, the whole system of governance. We need to fix entirely the whole thing. The first thing is a government cannot go and sign an agreement and not subject it to parliamentary scrutiny. That's the beginning. The beginning was wrong. And we need to stop instilling this fear in us as though there is a tribal Armageddon about to happen, and that there is a section of the Gambia that is armed and waiting for the right opportunity to bring Gambia back. This fear needs to go. People cannot live with fear all their lives.
Well, the president tried to tell them that they must accept that Gambia will not come back.
But that's politics. That's politics. What people need is a conversation. It's not politics. It's not
So we
sticking
need to have
finger
a
at them.
national conversation. as
Not
to-
just that. First, correct the economic issue.
Yeah,
The
but what
hot-
I'm saying
the
that-
hot pursuit issue.
Yes.
Now, if Senegalese are fighting whatever it is, Gambia government should genuinely be interested in that. Let's have a system that works at that place. If a Senegalese, if someone shoots at a Senegalese and comes to the Gambia, that person is a criminal. He should be arrested and extradited. That person is a criminal. You kill someone in Senegal
And run away.
You run away and you come to the Gambia. You are a criminal.
You are found, yes.
Exactly. But for Gambia to also sit down and watch the kind of abuse of rights that is happening that is also criminal.
And that's what the
You
Human
cannot-
Rights
you
Commission
can-
is
yes,
trying to
you
say.
cannot also allow that kind of thing to happen.
So what will the government do now?
So I'm not sure.
What is the
I'm not
solution to the
sure
problem?
it has to do with economic presence at that place.
No, Senegalese soldiers particularly, the locals believe that that is the fundamental problem.
That economic was present.
Senegalese soldiers, whether they are economic or they are, because as far as the Fonyi people are concerned, they are one and the same. So they said the solution is to withdraw or redeploy Senegalese troops from there to other parts of the country and bring Nigerians or perhaps Gambian soldiers to man the area. That's their demand.
Well,
do you think that is the solution?
Well, that is not far-fetched. I don't see why Gambian soldiers shouldn't even be. Gambian soldiers are already there anyway.
Yeah, but
in fact, when the crisis happened in April,
Yeah.
it was Gambian soldiers who were patrolling the area. It was not the other way around. It was the Gambian soldiers who were patrolling the area.
So the entire place they said should be left to Gambian soldiers.
Exactly. I mean, that's not a problem. I mean, if the Gambian soldiers are in charge of that area, I mean, the whole thing, security sector reform, if you think there are sections of the Gambian army that is problematic, why isn't the security sector reform stalled? Why is it that when we talk about SSR, the only thing we talk about, I created a defense policy, I created this policy, that policy. You created papers, you just pay someone to sit in some office and write some ideas.
It has no bearing on what changes, nothing changes on the ground. That's fundamentally
nothing. That's not our business.
I see.
Yeah. So you continue to he created this situation. If he think that there is the issue of the army situation that needs to be fixed, that's his fault. He had 6 years to fix it.
You're talking about the president?
Yes. So he is wasting people's time, and now he is telling people I mean, the issue of Jammeh, everybody knows. I mean, Jammeh was defeated at polls, whether or not he agreed with that. We knew he was defeated.
He was defeated, yeah.
And Jammeh was exiled. He's in exile.
It's in exile.
I mean, so Jammeh told his people he was going to come back. I mean, look, non-aligned now. Even Fabakar doesn't believe Jammeh is going to be president again.
But they've always known that a long time ago.
No, but he used to say yes, sir, to it. But
yeah, but
so no longer.
No, well, but he knew that a long time ago. It's just now that he's now holding the bull by the horns.
Yeah. So, but that, you see, that's also my problem with Gambian politics.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no standards. There's just
There's no consistency.
There is just nothing. Like everybody just wants to get a job.
Gentlemen, we will end the conversation on a lot more, well, let's say, a little bit less hard, but anyway, equally more emotional and sensitive. There have been this twin trial. I call it twin trial because even though they're separate trials, but they have something in common. You know, an ex-couple found themselves in trouble with one another and with the law on the other hand. Bob Ketter's trial we all followed. He's been accused of rape. His wife, his former wife, who's also been charged for manslaughter, suspected to have caused the death of her sister's child. Also, that case has also ended over the weekend with the government saying they're no longer interested in prosecuting the case. Many people who follow this Hollywood like of a trial are now asking what next you think for the couple. Should they, as some people said, just simply reunite and forget the whole episode? You know, but Kexx had been following both cases. It must be said that Kexx was a little bit sympathetic to the Bob Ketter one. What happened in court now? Yesterday, Friday, was it? Yes. Why suddenly the government just said, well, we're no longer interested in pursuing the case, so everything come to an end?
Yeah, well, there's no reason for...
Government did not give anything. They're working within the law, which says they can kill the case before it reaches judgment.
They just read on Section 85C of the Constitution. And they discontinue the case, showing that they have no interest to pursue the case, and they decided...
But why now? Did they believe there is no... Well, of course, probably they were waiting for the no case thing that was filed by the defense. Perhaps they were waiting whether the judge will respect...
That was rejected by the judge.
That was judge, yes.
It was rejected, and the judge said that you have a case to answer, and you must come and tell us why you should not be charged of these two charges that you are. We want to hear your side of the story. For us, we believe that there is a case that you can answer. And he was forced to open the defense, and she started even opening the defense.
Yes, she started giving very emotional testimonies
of what actually transpired. And yesterday was the day she should continue, expected to finish. And because Jada has already allocated 2 hours for her to finish actually her testimony, so that maybe a cross-examination by the defense can actually start then.
So the way it was going, the case was going to end anyway very soon.
Yeah, but Jai was like actually ready. He wanted to even take multiple days just to make sure that all these 3 people actually were done with their testimony and they are cross-examined and they go enter into judgment.
From your experience as an experienced court reporter, I'm sure nobody can predict judgment, but where was this case heading?
That's why we actually are interested to reach to the
for its natural conclusion.
Because number one, we have the subordinate courts in this country, and the law is saying that the subordinate courts learn from the higher
courts. Okay.
So you have judgment of this nature. These are unique cases that actually happens in our jurisdiction. These are cases of, so you expect, you know, for
a judgment.
Yeah, since it goes up to there was no case submission and the judge said, no, you have a case to answer. For me, a serious government, I would pardon the person, but I would have wait until I actually reach at the conclusion of the case. It's not even about saying about personal or Bob, any other person that I believe it should be actually that. But I also have a problem with regards to who has the power to discontinue a case in this country.
Well, didn't they say the government?
No, that's my problem. Who has the power to actually discontinue a case in our jurisdiction?
Okay.
If you look at the provision, for me, it doesn't tell the Minister of Justice is the one who should discontinue a case.
Okay.
That's not the language of the provision. And why the provision didn't choose the Minister of or the President, it's something that the drafters of the law know why they say that the Director of Public Prosecution should discontinue any case.
I see.
Not the Minister of Justice.
But is there any such position? I think it's not filled.
It has not been filled up to today, more than 3-4 years. Then that position is very key in terms of.
So without that, it's the minister who can.
So the minister was acting, for me, my own interpretation,
as director.
The law that does not been confined in him. Because like they said the ombudsman, let's just make an example.
Yeah, the ombudsman.
The ombudsman, the president can appoint the office of the ombudsman, the ombudsman, but subject to the approval of the National Assembly. That the Assembly must approve it. But now the Assembly cannot just get up to there and say that I appoint the ombudsman, because that power is not confined in you. So this law is telling you that DPP should discontinue any case in consul approval of the minister. So it has to be initiated, and he went up there and he said it has to be initiated by the DPP. And you don't have that DPP in office. So the minister is using a power that is not confined to him by law. From Bob case to discontinue even Bob case, even though it's my friend, I feel it is illegal, it's not correct. You go to Senabu's case and any other person. And this country, we have to be serious. Laws are not just designed and put into the papers just for us to just go there. They are designed for a purpose.
Very quickly, what do you have to add to that?
So for me, the only thing is this Bob and Senabu case, regardless of what my opinion was, which I had expressed before, I think the problem is that it shows there is a certain type of Gambian mediocrity it exposed. I mean, we advocated for justice for Bob, justice for Zainab, justice for Mohammed, and we leave the system intact. Yeah, and we know that the primary reasons Bob had no justice, Zainab, Mama had no justice, the kid had no justice. And clearly the kid was drowned because
he was the victim.
And even the woman also, because the woman also was impregnated at the age of 17, we are told. So she was raped. You see, she had no justice. And so, but the question, the issue is state that investigated it messed up. They didn't do it well. They messed up the case dragged on until we get to what we got to. Then Bob was freed. Then this case came and they poorly investigated it. Also the young man, the Mohammed's case came in. They poorly investigated it, and Mohammed, if you put someone in an enclosed space without oxygen, without air, and
under the heat of the sun,
they will drown. It's like putting someone in water. They drown. So clearly, if you are telling me that is not
no justice has been achieved in all districts.
No justice, and the system that creates that injustice, nobody talks about that. They only you advocate for either of the three, and you get it, and we go home.
Tom, finally, very quickly, how do you feel?
For this one, I don't know. I just blame the justice system. I think something should have been done. Somebody should be accountable for the death of this child. Yes.
Tombong Saidy of the United Democratic Party, responsible for media and communications now. Mustapha, journalist Mustapha Darboe, and activist and blogger Kemenseng Sanneh. Thank you all for being on the brunch this week. We got to go now. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a great weekend.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship, Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.